Since August the 2nd, the National Association of Resident Doctors has downed tools due to government's inability to meet their demands. Well, the federal government has used appeal, persuasion and threat of no work, no pay, but the doctors seem determined to stay off work. Now, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, is approaching the National Industrial Court to settle the matter. Will the court order the doctors to return to work or give a nod to the no work, no pay threat of the federal government? Let's discuss this issue further with Dr. Ebong, an official of the Nigeria Medical Association, Abuja, Barrister Babatunde Falola, who will be looking at the issue from the legal perspective also. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, I have OCHOLI YUSUF, who will be also looking at this with us on the show. Let me begin with you. What do you make of this resident doctor strike since August 2? And they have continued to say, look, we're not backing down. This is going to be, it will go on as long as it takes, for as long as the federal government does not meet our demands. What do you make of it? Because federal government is saying this is not the right time. It is unconscionable for the doctors to go on strike at this time, facing the third wave of COVID-19, you know, and other issues. What do you make of it?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I think the doctors are behaving as if somebody is, or some persons are politically using them. You see, in the real sense, this is not the time for doctors to go on strike. Coupled with the COVID, whatever that is on ground now, this is the time we need doctors. And then
yeah, but if this is not the time, when exactly really should they press home their demands? It's not the first time the doctors have, you know, even warned government, if you don't meet these demands, we're going to go on strike. And every now and again, there seems to be, you know, meetings upon meetings, agreements upon agreements. But as far as the doctors are concerned, government is not meeting its side of the bargain.
Well, you see, when issues like this arise, it's not something you just wake up and see a solution to it. You go for meetings, negotiation, they must come to terms. Most definitely, the government will come to terms with the doctor. But to me, them going on strike is not the right thing to do, coupled with the COVID, whatever that we have on ground now.
Well, Tunde Falola, you are the lawyer. Help us understand the legal perspective of this, because the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, has apparently taken this matter to the Industrial Court, you know, for arbitration. He's saying that members of the, you know, resident doctors who are classified as essential services workers, employees, had embarked on strike on Monday, August 2, over the issues under conciliation, contrary to the provisions of Section 18 of the Trade Disputes Act, Cap T8 laws of the Federation of Nigeria. What do you make of this?
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying I will analyze this issue from two angles, the moral aspect and the legal aspect. That is why I want to agree with the learned gentleman beside me that on moral grounds, it is wrong on the part of the striking doctor to embark on such action at this very point in time, given the surrounding circumstances of a health sector in Nigeria as occasioned by a COVID-19 pandemic. Having said that, let me sound a warning that the right to strike is definitely part of the right enjoyed by the medical personnel. They have that right, both statutorily and constitutionally, to say, okay, they want to press home some demands.
Yeah.
They want an improved condition of service and what have you. Having said that, the legal aspect of the no work, no pay issue, has been captured by the provision of Section 41, sub 1A of the Trade Dispute Act. To that extent, no workers, that partake in any strike will be entitled to a salary and benefits during the period of that strike. So if the Minister of Labour decide to go to court to invoke that provision, that look, National Industrial Courts compel, direct that none of these, striking workers or the strikers, are entitled. So the court will oblige, because the essence of strike, number one, as I've defined it, is to press home, demand some basic things, or to call for improved welfare and the condition
as an extreme measure.
Yes,
right.
But at the same time, if you look at the concept of strike itself, what it connotes is that there's a cessation of service at that period. There's stoppage of service. Now, if you look at the employment and employee relationship, it presupposes that, look, as an employee, I've surrendered some things, some of my rights to you, that I'm going to work for you under some condition of service and in return for salary and whatever. Now, if you decide to say, okay, we want to, enforce your rights by not coming to work or by not carrying out the duties assigned to you, I, as an employer, I also have that right to say, no, I'm not going to pay you.
Yeah, but the employer in this case failed to meet those demands. Yes, the federal government says, we have met you halfway of the 12 or so demands that you have made. But when the federal government says it has no choice than to implement the no work, no pay, is it a statement of fact? Is it the true picture of the situation?
The
that
federal government
has no other choice?
The federal government probably, I don't want us to go into the politics of this, the negotiation, because there's some fact that we must, that might not be in our, possession now. We may not have some facts, regarding the negotiation that has started, few weeks ago or a month or what have you. But we are looking at the legal implication. Is it right if we decide to embark on strike for you to, compel me to pay you during the period where you want to? No, it is the federal government. They has that right. They have the right.
All right.
They have the right.
Well, just hold that.
It's not one-way traffic.
Right. Hold that thought. When we come back, we'll discuss even further with my guests. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching This Week with me, Ngozi Alebu. Well, my guests are still very much with me here in the studio. OCHOLI YUSUF and Tunde Falola, who is a lawyer, has been trying to give us the legal perspective of this. Let me come to you, OCHOLI. Well, the Minister for Labour did express his frustration, a couple of days ago, saying he was not going to have any more meetings with the resident doctors because, from all indication, as far as he's concerned, they are being unreasonable in their demands, considering the fact that they've met half of those demands. And as a matter of fact, the states should take it from there, because many of the states are actually defaulting in terms of, in paying. Is there a political solution to this? We hear that presently the doctors are having negotiations with the federal government. We hope that turns out well. But is there a political solution to this impasse?
You see, thank you. First of all, for every issue that may arise in any country, there's always a political solution. And in
what
most
is that
cases,
political solution?
In most cases, cases, political solution is the final solution to whatever it is. Look at the doctors did not just threaten with strike, they went on strike, and after all negotiation, they say they are not going to come back until their 12 for 12 is met. And then the Minister of Labour went to court and said, okay, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, I'm not that. It's out of frustration because they are being unreasonable.
But has federal government shown good faith? Has federal government demonstrated that really it is truly willing, ready, willing, and able to meet these doctors halfway, at least in a way that they will have confidence that government is really sincere about its promises?
You see, the federal government have said this over and over again, that they've met the doctors halfway their demand, and the doctors should be reasonable. The
payment of 5,000 hazard allowance, other monies that should have been paid to the families of the 19 doctors, for example, who lost their lives to COVID, and other, outstanding, issues. You think government is being fair?
You see, I'm not part of the negotiation negotiation team, but I know for a fact that the federal government say they have met the doctors halfway of their 12 demands.
That's what the government is saying.
That's what the government say. But I don't know what was agreed in their negotiation. But as I speak to you right now, we launched their negotiation going on right now, and I'm sure they'll come out fine. I think the doctors are beginning to see reasons with the federal government. That
well, we do hope so, because there are indications that the parent body, the Nigerian Medical Association, may also join this strike if nothing comes of this meeting today. As a matter of fact, last week the NMA, made a point that the federal government is in the habit of not, meeting its own side of the bargain when it comes to agreements, whether with resident doctors or with ASU or any of those, other groups. Mr. Falola, what do you think is the way out of this beyond the legal, recourse that government, is looking at?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
There's this popular saying that when two elephants fight,
the grass suffers.
And on that note, I just want to appeal, just a matter of appeal to the Nigerian Medical Association to be more patient with the government, considering the states of the health sector in Nigeria today, as earlier stated. We will appeal to them. Nobody, no reasonable man will encourage that, the medical doctor should be treated, in a way and manner that doesn't, befitting, that does not befit their status, considering the sensitivity nature of their job. One will encourage the federal government to, as a matter of fact, expedite action and ensure that the necessary demands are met. However, on the part of the doctor too, they should consider, the masses, the poor masses in this country.
It definitely is taking a toll on the masses.
If, like you have said, if others arms of the the union join the strike, definitely there will be total shutdown in our hospital. So
and that's one thing Nigeria cannot afford at this time.
Yeah.
But let's even talk about what the government is saying also beyond this particular situation now, that the constraints of budget is hampering financing of the health sector. How best really, OCHOLI, let me bring this to you. How best do you think the federal government can address the myriad issues within Nigeria's health sector?
Well, sincerely, medically, it's I think it's up for the minister to discuss with these people and listen to them and be like, okay, this is the budget, this is what is doable, this is what is doable. I believe these people are human, even before they become doctors. These people should be able to see reason with the government, considering the state of things in the medical.
I'm even talking generally about the health sector as a whole.
Okay.
How much importance should government attach to the need to improve the budgeting for health? It's barely around 500 billion, less than 5% of the national budget, plus or minus, about 5–7% of the annual budget. Should it be tackled from that point, Falola?
Well, it's a matter of a priority on the part of the government. It's a matter of priority. Health sector, educational sector, and other sensitive sectors, have to be given special attention when it comes to, who get what in our national budget. And that is why I want to also draw the attention of the NMA to the fact that the Minister of Health, who's supposed to be their representative there, they should work on him. They should pressurize him. What has it given, or what has it laid on the table before the government, considering the importance of this sector? In other words, what are things that he proposes to the federal government in terms of the national budget? It starts from there. He's assumed to be a doctor too. He should know where the shoe pinches.
Speaking of that, the point has been made. I'm not too sure how verifiable that is. That many times when you find the NMA or the resident doctors going on strike, it's usually when a medical doctor, a fellow medical practitioner, is at the head as Minister of Health. I wonder how true that is. But as a politician, OCHOLI, what would you make of, the idea that politicians, whether it's a president, vice president, whoever, should not go abroad, to seek medical care? Some are saying that is the fundamental that if we ensure, make legislation that, you know, as a public officer, you cannot go abroad, you know, to seek health care and contribute to the $1 billion or so that Nigerians spend on medical tourism, maybe we will begin to see, you know, improvement in Nigeria's health sector. Do you agree with that? Well,
sincerely, I think I will agree with that, because at the end of the day, it's this money that will take there for treatment that we are still borrowing from these people to come and fund our budget. So I think it is better, just like you were talking about the budget, it is better we increase the budget and have a good medical facilities instead of traveling abroad. The cost of you getting ticket, the cost of you getting a hotel, the cost of you paying the overseas doctors. This money can be utilized here.
Taxpayers' money.
Yes, and then we will have a good health system. I think I agree with them on that.
And Nigeria's health sector wasn't always that bad. You had a situation where the Saudi royal family would actually come to Nigeria to, you know, to seek medical care. What do you think, you know, went wrong? What do you think has gone wrong with our health sector?
Well, just like I said the other time, it's about priority. What priority, you know, does the government give to this sector? Is it a sector that, you know, is very, very important to them, or they are just paying, you know, lip services on all this thing? Now, if you are saying you are going to abroad, honestly speaking, I want to the extent that you know, most of these political elites travel out. The act itself is unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional in the sense that if you look at the provision of fundamental principle and objective of the state policy, part of that provision is that, you know, the welfare of its citizen, you know, shall be, you know, the object of the government of the day. Now, what are they doing, you know, in making sure that an average Nigeria access good health facility? They are doing nothing. Otherwise, they won't be traveling from Nigeria to abroad to seek medical, you know, help. Recently, we had a report that federal government, they are trying to discourage, you know, medical doctor traveling abroad, you know, for better jobs. Now, the question is, what are they doing in Nigeria to encourage these, you know, seasoned, you know, experts? What are they doing in terms of the welfare, in terms of the facilities in our hospital? The state of
that's an important point you raise. The brain drain within health sector it's quite staggering. As a matter of fact, they're throwing all kinds of you know, attractive you know, things to Nigerian doctors to, you know, come abroad.
Yes.
Of the 70,000 registered medical doctors in Nigeria, only 40,000 are practicing in the country. Now you have 19,000 resident doctors who are on strike. Imagine what that means for Nigeria's, you know, for the health sector. How much more the, you know, the citizenry.
It's about priority. It's about priority. Do we really value our health system?
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the options for the doctors that you know, talked about earlier. You're saying going on strike is an extreme situation. What other options could the doctors have, you know, taken advantage of beyond going on strike? OCHOLI?
Thank you. I think to me, going on strike, considering the situation.
Yeah, that point has been made. I'm asking, what are those other options?
I'm coming. I think to me, the only options the doctors have or had was to continue negotiations, since there was a negotiation going on with the government. And the government have said, we are halfway there with you people. You people should come down a little so we can meet halfway. Going on strike now is slightly uncalled for. Today we are already on another negotiation. This should have been the only solution.
If these negotiations fall through, I mean, what then? What are the chances of the federal government actually, you know, winning a case at the industrial court?
Well,
FALOLA?
Yeah, I'm not privy to, you know, the process filed in the courts. I'm not privy to what are the, you know, claim or the reliefs the Honorable Minister, you know, took to the National Industrial Court. But what I know is that by virtue of that provision of Section 41(1)(a) of the Trade Dispute Act, whether a strike is legal or illegal, you are not entitled to, you know, to payment during that period of the strike. That's just a basic thing. That's just a law. You are not entitled for that period. But at the same time, I still want to appeal to federal government too. There should be a meeting point. This time around, it's not about medical doctor alone. Let the federal government look at what they have on grants and come to, negotiation is not about win-win-win. So just employ, continue to employ this dialogue and what have you, just like he has suggested, and see whether possibly things will work out.
Yeah, but the medical doctors don't have confidence that the dialogue is not just a means to buy time on the part of the federal government. They doubt the sincerity of government as far as these dialogues are concerned. So what's the way forward then?
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
First of all, what time would the government want to buy when they are already on strike? It's not like they are working. And I believe they already fall out, and I believe they have come to their sense of understanding that, okay, we can't keep going this way. Let's sit on the round table again with these people. Let's see if they can come up or if we can come down. I'm sure there must have been meetings upon meetings within the doctors. Yeah,
and what are the chances that, at the end of this dialogue today, if the resident doctors are convinced to go back to work, that we will not find ourselves in this situation again down the line, maybe another 3 or 6 months? What are the chances? OCHOLI YUSUF, thank you so much for joining us on this week, and Tunde Falola, lawyer, thank you for giving us the legal perspective.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you for having me.